guys, welcome to another episode of Renaissance-Bodybuilder, a sneak peek into my mental health journey as I navigate through what it really means to be on a journey of self-discovery. I am your host, Michael Otule. Welcome. How are y'all? Y'all good? I hope. Good, Gucci, groovy. I'm all three with a side of stress. And here's why. I feel like work is taking over my life at the moment. And I don't like that because I like to think of work as, and this is corporate America type work, as a place where I can exercise my knowledge and help fund the life that I want to live. Okay. Nowhere in those plans does it say I want my job to take over my life, or my job is my life, or my job is who I am. No. No. Hell no. Especially if it's not like my own business, like something that I'm working for. Nah, hell nah. Even when it comes to moving up the corporate ladder and becoming a manager and all that stuff, that type stuff like that, I'm not someone who is just like, I'm searching for that. Like, I'm yearning for that. You know what I mean? And it's more so because, one, I do not like managing people. I see what managers go through every single day, and that I don't yearn for that. And then two, I rather work by myself. Give me the work. I'll do it. I'll turn it in, or I'll, do what I need to do a presentation, blah, blah, blah. Cool. And then I just go about my business. I don't need to now check up on so-and-so and then do this and then do that and then this report and that report and whoa. The most. Not with it. So I'm kind of upset that my job is stressing me out with work. I'm also trying to, get this business started and actually find a way to connect it all because I want to do so much. I want to do like many different things, and I don't know how to. Should I put it under one umbrella? Should I just branch it off? And then there's also this part of just starting. There's this analysis paralysis. I told my therapist this, that I have, and she was just like, huh? But yeah, to me, it's real. I plan way too much. So I am in the process of starting a lot of stuff, and I don't know if I should do it this way, more so because there's also this little piece of advice from my mentor who says, start things small, start in increments. Those two have been stressing me out kind of lately, along with what I want to do for my birthday. I'm just turning 37. It's not like it's a milestone year. So I want to take a solo trip to Mexico and just kind of spend some time out there by myself, meeting new people, meeting locals, because I think that is the goal for me this year, is to do things that will put me in the place to meet new people. I want to see what else is out there in the world instead of my world. All of that has been kind of like building up, and I just need to learn how to compartmentalize. So sometimes I listen to a motivational speech or motivational speakers on Spotify. One of them kind of read me a little bit and was just like, I don't compartmentalize my activities for the day. For example, you're at work. You do everything that you need to do at work. You're all in work, right? Boom. So then when you leave work, you can now take your work uniform off and put your personal, I need now my personal business work outfit on. Now you put that outfit on, and then now for a couple of hours, you're in that 100%. You're going in. You're not thinking about work, or you're not thinking about, after whatever you have, going on the next activity. You're just solely thinking about what you're doing at the moment, so that when you do move on, you feel fulfilled. You feel like you did something, you were productive, and then now you're ready to move on to the next activity. And that spoke to me only because I do carry a lot of what I've done onto the next. And then that is what is like bogging me down from actually moving on or actually starting stuff. Like, yeah, it's bad, but I'm working on it. That's what personal growth is is for. That's what personal growth look like. Okay, so we're working on it. Also, I want to turn this into like where I talk about anything type thing. Like, yeah, we're definitely still gonna talk about, how I'm feeling, because it's a mental health podcast, so that's how we got to start, you know what I'm saying? But then I kind of want to venture off into other things and just wanting to kind of expand what I talk about, because I actually want to talk about other stuff too, whatever is going on in the world, but also like anime stuff, like my interests, my other interests. I want to talk about those things somewhere else instead of just in my head. Also, the reason why I want to join clubs and stuff like that, to talk about these things and get other aspects of, say, anime or plants. Let's go ahead and start today with like plants. So I went to the plant store this weekend, and it was funny because after the gym, I went to the plant store and I had a ton of things that I needed to do afterwards, but I just literally ignored everything else and just went straight to the plant store and went straight home and went to sleep. So let me show you what I got. I got this plant here. It is a watermelon peperomia. This was actually one of the plants that was on my wish list. And it was actually one of our friends who said he was gonna go get one this past weekend. So I was just like, I might as well go get me one too. Look at this plant though. Like, it's like pretty dope. They actually look like watermelons up front on their leaves, and they're really thick. And one thing that you could do with these is you could cut it in half and then propagate these just straight into the soil, and then roots will grow out of your cutting. So it's actually pretty dope. A little tidbit of just going off script here. Plants. I love this one. I think I have like a couple more, but I'm also running out of room in here. Yeah, big time. Oh, and remember I don't know if I even showed y'all. There's a Thai constellation. There's a Monstera Thai constellation that I have that took forever to grow. And I finally repotted it because it kind of looked like it needed to. And next thing you know, it just started growing. So yeah. I think that's how we're gonna, play these episodes moving forward. Just, we're still gonna have the how I'm feeling segment, but we also may or may not venture out into other topics. So moving on to our next segment, 3 affirmations that I found favorable this week. As a reminder, these are affirmations that I found on this app called I Am, and they have many different categories that you can choose from. You can even create your own. It's actually a really dope app, especially if you're into affirmations, starting your day, ending your day, however. Starting with the first affirmation, I recognize that worrying about the future won't influence it. So this one spoke to me because I like to think that I live a very go with the flow lifestyle. So why worry about what is not certain? You know what I mean? Number 2, I only talk to myself with love. That is very true recently though. So how I used to talk to myself, or I think sometimes I still do, is I'll be like, I'm working on something and I'm like, all right, Mike, come on, go. I think that's just more encouraging. I don't think I'm being harsh on myself. I'm just like pushing myself to do more or go harder, you know what I mean? Just talking to yourself with love is very important, especially if you are a person who needs that and probably not receiving it from, outside source. Just kind of do it yourself. You know what I mean? Look at yourself in the mirror and be like, hey, you're doing good today. And for that, go get yourself a cookie. Why not? Something like that. And the last one, I step away from unnecessary bullshit to preserve my peace. I mean, now this one spoke to me like crazy, because this is exactly how I live my life. I do not see the use of unnecessary, just kind of like stuff in your life. The excess baggage that people try to bring into your life and or call into your life. If it doesn't pertain to anything that I need, love, or see, and I don't find it important, then I'm gonna keep moving, or I'm gonna give it as little energy as possible and then keep moving. So yeah, those are the 3 affirmations that I found favorable this week. Again, you could get these and much more on the I Am app. at your local app store. All right, so let's jump into the conversation. The conversation we're gonna be talking about today is acknowledging how you feel in every situation. The reason why this actually came up is because, you know, movies like In and Out 2, or even this show called Win or Lose on Disney Plus. And it follows a softball team and there are many emotions that they go through before getting to the championships. And that part of animating your emotions, it basically shows how they feel in that very certain situation, right? Which then led to me to say, do we all acknowledge how we feel in every situation that we're in? You tell me. I have tried to, or I have started to, especially when I feel uneasy, upset, or even happy. Sometimes, like, why am I happy? What is this feeling that is making me happy? So that I can remember it and then try to channel it again anytime I need to. So that's how this conversation came up to play. Let's start with a question. When was the last time you paused to truly acknowledge how you were feeling in a moment? Not just labeling it as good or bad, but really sitting with it, naming it, understanding it, and accepting it without judgment. I'll wait. Okay, then I'll go. So for me, I think the most recent time that I actually acknowledged how I felt was Friday, actually. And it was two things that happened at once. So at work, again, stressful, right? I just started this job about, let's say we're going on 6-7 months now. And the project manager on this job is very, very intimidating at times. But also, she talks down to everyone on the team, pretty much. And she intimidates you with what she believes is her knowledge. And she has sometimes unrealistic expectations. With all of that said, and then some, because it's just so much. I've been not struggling, but I guess I've been struggling with the reason to stay here. I'm doing the work that she's asking me to do, but then it's like there's always something wrong with it, wrong with what I'm doing, or me not knowing enough information. And in my mind, it's like I feel like she's trying to rush me to get to learn the system, but I don't learn like that. And I've told her this, I've communicated this to her, and I don't think it's sticking. So I'm in the middle of writing out this business process flow for the system that nobody really knows about, by the way. And I went to one of the coworkers to kind of help me with this system. And I was just like, hey, so this is what I'm doing. These are the steps I'm taking. Can you help me through this process? He looked at it. He was just like, yeah, I got you. Cool. And then at the end of that, he was just like, I just want to say you're doing a great job. Bro, that one came out of nowhere. 2, it came at the right time because, again, like I said, I was feeling very, very discouraged at what I was doing. Like, I didn't know if I was doing anything right. And not saying that I need gratification, like, type relationship from her, but I'm just saying, like, I don't even know if I'm doing this right. To the point where it's like, now I'm almost questioning if it's me. He was basically saying that I am doing a great job at learning the information as quickly as I am, because the last 2 business system analysts that they had on the team basically ran off because of how, intimidating this lady is and the stuff that she was asking for. So he was just like, for you to, last one this long and to actually get, the information that she's asking for and it looks good, kudos to you. So I took that as a win. I took that as a small win and I was feeling great. I literally sat there and was just like, yes, man, this is the exact confirmation that I needed for me to continue going on here. There are people who set the environment at work to be very hostile, and that's what it was. I'm on this win, right? Feeling good, feeling great about myself. And then I turn in this said project that I've been working on for her to review it, just for her to literally go in on me for, I mean, absolute no reason. I asked her a question about one of the user stories that we had because another coworker had a question about it. And then she, pulled me to the side and was just like, you could do, you could just go to, this place to find it. And I was just like, I didn't know. And then that's when she proceeded to say, you've been here for this long and I expected you to learn the system by now. And I was just like, bro, that's just unrealistic. Anyways, I don't want to go too deep into that conversation, but it left me feeling very, again, defeated. And this was like literally at the end of the day. And she even, in her speech, one thing I don't like is being lectured on what behavior or your like shit that I know. Don't do it. Like, it's just super fucking annoying. So this lecture left me feeling, again, defeated. So I sat there and I just had to sit with myself and say, hey, like, how are you feeling right now? You're feeling defeated. Why? Because this lady just came up here and just kind of wreck shopped on you for no goddamn reason, by the way. And I told myself, wait, but you were just feeling really good. Can we go back to that feeling? So that's the feeling I had to go back to because I remembered it and I acknowledged it in that moment. And I was like, all right, so that's how I feel. That's how I'm going to feel. And that's how I'm going to feel. I feel like that was a moment of me acknowledging both feelings and then remembering how I felt in one and trying to go back to that. And remembering how I felt in another one and not wanting to ever go back to that. But yeah, that's my story. Do you guys have any stories of where you actually acknowledged your feelings? If you do, put them in the comment section below and we can review it together. Like, I really want to know your stories. Moving right along, acknowledging your feelings is a cornerstone of emotional health. It helps you process experiences, communicate better with others, and make decisions that align with your values. But here's the catch. Many of us are conditioned to suppress or dismiss our emotions. We say things like, I'm fine, when we're not, or push through discomfort without addressing its cause. Guilty as hell. Ignoring how you feel doesn't make the emotion go away. It just buries it deeper. Over time, this can lead to stress, burnout, or even physical health issues. On the flip side, acknowledging your feelings creates space for healing and growth. It's like holding up a mirror to yourself and saying, I see you. I hear you. So going back to that talking to yourself in the mirror thing, something that I think there's been a theme around here greatly. But moving right along, is this what it means to be self-aware? So is acknowledging your feelings the same as being self-aware? What do you think? Duh. Of course it is. Self-awareness is about understanding yourself on a deeper level. Your thoughts, your emotions, your triggers, your patterns, and how they influence your actions. Acknowledging your feelings is one layer of self-awareness because it requires you to pause and tune into what's happening internally. Okay? But self-awareness goes beyond just noticing your emotion. It also involves understanding why you feel the way you do. For example, are you angry because someone crossed a boundary? Are you sad because there's a death in the family? Are you emotional because you are going through a breakup? When you connect to the dots between your emotions and their underlying causes, you gain clarity about yourself. And that clarity empowers you to respond rather than react. There have been many instances where I felt myself about to react. In fact, I felt myself about to react in the moment when she was giving me a lecture. I don't know, there's been this part of me that I've been noticing that wants to speak out and say like what I really want to say. Because yes, I could be a nice person. Yes, I could be a nice guy. And yes, I can hold my tongue, but I feel like there's a certain point where that I get to that is just like, all right, the nice guy act is not necessarily working right now and you're not getting it. So now I have to actually apply a little bit more pressure and or react. And in most of the time, I feel like my reactions are not going to be something that I would be proud of, which is why I don't react most of the time. Would I say I'm scared? scared of how I react? Like, have you ever thought like how far can you go? Like, say if somebody pissed you off and you actually got into a fight. This is for my non-fighters. Do you think you could actually knock somebody out? All the rage that you've got basically pent up, do you think it'll come out in that moment? Sometimes I think of that, and sometimes I think, yeah, and sometimes I think I could actually really, really hurt somebody. We'll never know, because I am focused on that mental health. Wow. So, how to practice acknowledging your feelings. Now that we have established why acknowledging your feelings is important and how it ties into self-awareness, let's talk about how to actually do it. Here are some practical steps. Pause and check. Throughout your day, take moments to pause and ask yourself, how am I feeling right now? You might be surprised by what comes up when you give yourself permission to check in. What does that look like? So pause and check in. Yeah, and just ask yourself, how do you feel? That makes sense. Yeah. Sometimes I feel like, though, like, if I say, how do I feel? Because I've been so conditioned to say I'm fine, I feel like I just say I'm fine. But I feel like also, the more you practice this, the more it'll come out easier and well explained in more words than just fine. Name the emotion. Try to name what you're feeling as specific as possible. Instead of saying I'm upset, dig deeper. Are you frustrated, disappointed, overwhelmed? Naming your emotion helps validate it. Interesting. So yeah, like I said, just I guess the more you do it, the deeper you'll go. Definitely. But start. Next one, accept without judgment. Whatever comes up, remind yourself that it's okay to feel that way. Emotions aren't good or bad. They're simply information about what's happening inside of you. That's a really good one too. I could see myself thinking like, oh, I'm not supposed to think this way. And that's just not reasonable. We think all types of ways and that's okay. Next one, explore the why. If you're ready, ask yourself why you might be feeling this way. What triggered this emotion? Is there an unmet need or unresolved issue behind it? I don't know, you tell me. Next one, express it. Sometimes acknowledging your feeling means expressing them. Whether that's journaling, that's my favorite, talking to someone you trust, or even saying out loud to yourself, I feel insert emotion. Talking to someone, that is something that I'm still working on. Like I have my people that I talk to, but even still, it just feels weird. Am I the only one? Like I don't know. Dare I say, it's almost comfortable to talk to a therapist who doesn't know me than to my friends who know exactly who I am. I don't know why. Yeah, that's weird because I would feel like the therapist would judge me harder, but then it's a therapist. I'm not saying that I'm just talking to anybody about my feelings. Okay, boom, there, okay. Because I feel like also the therapist has a biased view of everything, or supposed to at least. Where I'm sure my friends would more so take my side in anything that I talk about, right? Well, then again, not really. I do have some friends who can definitely split the two and tell me when I'm wrong. This is not about telling if I'm wrong. This is about my feelings. Anyways, it's there. And then last one, practice self-compassion. Be kind to yourself throughout this process. Acknowledging your feelings can be uncomfortable at first, especially if you're not used to doing it. But remember, this is an act of self-care. And we love self-care around here. I'll tell you that. Okay? But, wow, that is the episode, guys. Please let me know your stories. Please let me know in a moment where you acknowledged your feelings, where you said out loud to yourself, how am I feeling right now? Pencil this in. I want to see what's up. Thank you guys again for listening to another episode of Renaissance-Bodybuilder. I'm going to do the YouTube thing. Please comment, like, subscribe. I am trying to grow this channel. I'm also thinking about doing other things, especially with the YouTube shorts. I don't know yet. I'm still kind of brainstorming. I know I've been brainstorming for a long time and I need to actually start doing stuff. I know, and I'm coming. but I need your subscription. And share too, share it out there. I'm trying to get big, you know what I'm saying? No, not really, but really. All right, guys. Peace.